If you are seeing this message on February 10th, understand this is not an accident of timing, not a random scroll, not a coincidence created by algorithms. You are here because something in your life has reached a precise moment, and moments like this do not announce themselves loudly. They appear quietly and expect awareness from the one who was prepared to notice. You didn't arrive at this day by luck. You arrived by alignment. There were days before this one when you felt delayed, overlooked, or unsure whether your effort was producing anything real. But purpose never rushes to prove itself. It waits until character is strong enough to carry what is coming. February 10th is not special because of the date itself. It is special because of who you have become by reaching it. Growth often happens in silence, and the most significant transformations occur while you are still, questioning whether anything is changing at all. There is a principle woven into creation that Dr. Myles Munroe often taught without dramatics. Preparation always precedes manifestation. Nothing appears before it is first developed. Seeds do not announce their progress underground, yet everything above the surface depends on what happened where no one was watching. The days you thought were ordinary were actually instructional. The resistance you faced was not punishment, it was refinement. And refinement always produces clarity before it produces results. If you are seeing this now, it means you endured a season that required patience without applause. You kept moving forward without reassurance. You learned to stay steady when emotions wanted control. That is not accidental maturity. That is trained discipline. Scripture reflects this principle when it speaks of testing faith, producing endurance, not because struggle is glorified, but because endurance expands capacity. You don't graduate from lessons by escaping them. You graduate by becoming larger than what once overwhelmed you. Notice how different you are now compared to who you were when this chapter began. Your reactions have slowed. Your discernment has sharpened. You don't explain yourself as much. That's not withdrawal, that's wisdom. Purpose does not argue for validation. It moves with quiet authority because it knows where it's going. And when God trusts someone with more, He first teaches them restraint. Strength without restraint is dangerous. Vision without timing is premature. What you have learned to hold back is as important as what you are preparing to step into. Seeing this message today signals that an internal shift has already taken place. External changes always lag behind internal alignment. That delay is intentional. It protects you. It ensures that when doors open, you don't mistake access for assignment. Many people reach opportunities they are not ready to steward. You were kept waiting because what is ahead requires steadiness, not excitement. There's another principle often overlooked. Recognition follows readiness, not desire. Wanting more does not qualify you for more. Becoming more does. And becoming always happens in private. That's why this moment feels subtle instead of explosive. Loud transitions impress people. Quiet transitions change lives. You are not stepping into noise, you are stepping into precision. Pay attention to what has been leaving your life lately. Certain distractions have lost their appeal. Certain conversations no longer satisfy you. Certain environments feel too small. That's not loss, that's alignment. Purpose sheds weight before it accelerates. Even Jesus withdrew before he advanced, not because he lacked power, but because clarity requires separation. When Scripture speaks of seasons of waiting, it is never passive waiting, it is active positioning. This message finds you at a threshold, not a finish line. A threshold is where responsibility increases, not comfort. What comes next will ask for consistency, not motivation. Motivation fades. Consistency builds legacies. You have already proven you can remain steady when outcomes are uncertain. And that is why this moment could recognize you. Hold this awareness gently. Don't rush to label it. Don't demand immediate evidence. Purpose unfolds layer by layer, not all at once. And what you are stepping toward next will require the same calm confidence that carried you through what you thought might break you, because the next phase doesn't begin with celebration. It begins with understanding. That every test you passed was not simply a measure of your endurance, but a quiet revelation of your identity. Most people fail to see it this way. They look at obstacles as interruptions, delays as punishment, and trials as random hardship. But you have learned something different. God does not allow tests to happen outside of your preparation. Each trial was a mirror, reflecting not what you wanted to be, but who you truly are. And today, when you read this, that reflection is unmistakable. You see yourself, and it is larger, steadier, and more capable than before. You are no longer startled by pressure because you understand its purpose. Pressure does not destroy you, it defines you. It stretches what is hidden inside until it can no longer remain hidden. That is why most people fail. They fear the pressure, they avoid the discomfort, and they never realize that the very circumstances that seemed unfair were the instruments of their awakening. You didn't fail, you endured, you persisted. You became fluent in a language that most never learned, the language of quiet faith, of unshakable patience, of disciplined obedience to what you cannot yet see fully. Look back for a moment, not to dwell, but to recognize. Notice how the challenges you thought were stopping points were actually stepping stones. The doors you believed were closed were waiting for your growth to reach them. Your timing, your preparation, your resilience, they were all part of a design larger than your comprehension. Scripture frames it this way: every man and woman is tested according to the measure of their purpose. Not everyone passes because not everyone is prepared. You have passed, and that is why you are being positioned for something beyond the ordinary. There is an invisible authority within you now, one forged quietly through perseverance. It is not announced by your achievements, nor celebrated by applause. It manifests in the stillness with which you carry yourself, in the discernment you exercise, and in the confidence why you no longer need to explain. That is the mark of someone who has passed the test most people fail, not because they were smarter or luckier, but because they were faithful, consistent, and willing to grow in silence. As you step forward from today, understand that recognition is only the beginning of responsibility. God does not reward without entrusting more. Passing the test places you in a position to steward greater assignments. And stewardship is never glamorous at first. It is deliberate, measured, precise. The world may expect celebration, but you have learned to value understanding above applause. And that understanding will carry you further than any immediate praise ever could. Because what lies ahead will require more than enthusiasm, it will demand mastery of self. Most people step into opportunity with excitement and leave when the first difficulty appears. You, however, have passed the quiet trials, endured the invisible tests, and now you possess a steadiness that cannot be shaken by circumstance. That steadiness is more valuable than any skill, more powerful than any connection, because it aligns you with purpose rather than impulse. Take a moment to feel it, this calm within you. It is the evidence that your spirit has been carrying more than you realize, and that carrying has trained you for this exact season. Notice how you no longer seek validation externally. It is no longer necessary because the internal witness is enough. Faithfulness to process, patience with timing, and commitment to principle, these are the qualities that God honors quietly before He manifests them publicly. The test you passed was not about proving yourself to others, it was about proving yourself to yourself. Most people fail because they never confront what is inside. Ignore the subtle whispers of integrity, discipline, and discernment. You listened, you acted, you endured, and in doing so, you completed a cycle that most will never understand until it is too late. Your victory began long before today, and today simply acknowledges what has already been formed in your character. Notice the changes in your perception. You no longer panic when the unexpected arises. You evaluate, you adjust, and you proceed with precision. That is not arrogance, that is preparation becoming authority. Scripture often teaches that those who endure trials without wavering will inherit positions of influence. Influence is not a gift. It is a reflection of readiness, of internal alignment with purpose. You are ready, you are aligned, and that readiness will now shape the next phase of your journey. Because readiness is never accidental. It is cultivated in the silent hours when no one is watching. in choices made quietly that later reveal themselves as the foundation for greatness. Most people crave recognition before they are ready to handle it, but you have been refined in a way that the world cannot yet measure. You are carrying an unseen authority that will guide not just your steps, but the steps of others who will follow where you lead. Pay attention to the subtle confirmations around you. Opportunities, conversations, and even the people you encounter now are aligned with the path you have quietly prepared for. They are not random. They are echoes of the principle that God orchestrates circumstances in perfect timing. What you see today is the result, LT, of yesterday's discipline. What you will step into tomorrow depends on today's understanding. And understanding is not rushed. It is absorbed, reflected, and applied. You have learned that not every door opens when you knock. Not every answer comes when you demand it. And not every blessing arrives with fanfare. That is why so many fail. They measure success by visibility rather than alignment. You measure success by growth, by endurance, by integrity. That is why you are being recognized today in ways that feel subtle yet profound. Recognition follows readiness, and you are ready. Now, feel the weight of what has been lifted from your life. Past fears, doubts, and pressures no longer have the same hold. They were necessary. They shaped discernment and revealed depth you could not have known without challenge. The very tests you feared were actually indicators of your capacity. Capacity grows in quiet resistance, not in immediate comfort. You have passed because you understood this instinctively, even before your mind fully grasped it. Because passing a test is not measured by the absence of difficulty, but by the presence of consistency under pressure. You have demonstrated that consistency is not reactive, it is intentional. You did not give up when circumstances seemed unfavorable. You did not chase shortcuts when patience was required. You persisted quietly, steadily, deliberately. That persistence is now a signal that you can handle what comes next, not through luck, but through cultivated character. Notice how your perspective has shifted. Challenges that once intimidated you now provoke strategy instead of fear. Disappointments that once discouraged you now sharpen your discernment. That is not change by chance. It is transformation through endurance. Scripture teaches that the testing of your faith produces perseverance, and perseverance builds maturity. You have moved beyond mere survival. You have moved into stewardship of what you have been trained to manage. Your journey until this point has been invisible to many, yet fully observed by the one who orchestrates purpose. Recognition may be delayed, applause may be rare, but divine timing never fails. What you experience now is the quiet acknowledgement of your readiness, the gentle affirmation that the principles you practiced in private are now manifesting in ways you can perceive. Take note of the subtle confirmations around you, the right connections, the right opportunities, even the right thoughts that align with clarity and decision-making. All are indicators that you are moving in harmony with intention. You are entering a phase where the unseen work of discipline meets the visible work of assignment. And this alignment requires calm authority, not rush, because influence is never gained in haste. It is earned through fidelity to process. So understand this deeply. God's pride in you is not about what you have achieved, but about who you have become in the process. You have passed the test that most could not endure because you remained faithful, patient, and steadfast when no one was watching. That endurance has not only shaped your character, it has prepared you to steward greater responsibility, to lead with wisdom, and to move with quiet authority. Let this be your reminder. The trials you face were never meant to break you, but to reveal the strength, resilience, and purpose that already lived within you. Recognition may come, doors may open, and opportunities may align, but your true victory is internal. You have proven to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. You are no longer defined by fear, uncertainty, or delay. You are defined by steadfastness, clarity, and readiness. Step forward confidently, knowing that God sees your faithfulness, honors your endurance, and delights in the woman you are becoming. The test is passed. The lesson is learned, and the path ahead is now clear for those who are ready to walk it with the authority and calm certainty that only true preparation brings.